Court's calling case 2019-231, 2019-232, State of Arkansas versus Steve Niziol. We also have apparently case 2018-447 involving the same defendant.
Your Honor, Mr. Niziol indicated to me yesterday that on his new charges that he would be applying, and if he does, I'm assuming that everything will stay the same and will be appointed. I'm prepared to enter a plea on his new charge today.
All right. Let's see. First, on 231, the charges are for arraignment. The charges are aggravated robbery, Class Y felony, kidnapping, Class Y felony, burglary, commercial burglary, Class C felony, theft of property, Class D felony, theft of property, a separate Class C felony, terroristic threatening, a Class D felony, possession of a firearm by a certain person, Class D felony, another count of battery, a Class B felony. Those are the charges against Mr. Niziol. On those charges, how does the defendant now plead?
Not guilty on all charges, Your Honor.
Let's see.
Since the other two cases are on Judge Putnam's docket, it might be appropriate to move this case over to his also, Your Honor.
Well,
I agree, Judge.
Let me go to 232. This case is for arraignment on charges of possession of a controlled substance, Class D felony, fleeing, a Class D felony, driving on a suspended license. On those charges, how does Mr. Niziol plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
All right. 2018-447. Is this a revocation?
It's a failure to appear, Your Honor.
So this case has been set on Judge Putnam's schedule? No. The alias warrant was issued by this court. Back in March, this court was processing this case, and the defendant was ordered to appear on March 18th by this court, or April 18th, and the alias warrant, and we had it set for trial during the week of May 20th. He did not appear on April 18th, and that was the origin of this. It appears this case, even though it has the number, okay, so that's a Division 4 case. This case, I'm going to transfer 2019-231 to the Division 4 docket because 2018-447 and 2019-232 are already on the Division 4 docket. I don't know if he has other cases other than these three.
I think that's it, Judge. That's all I'm aware of.
All right. There's also a bond forfeiture case and bond forfeiture hearing in 2018-447. It's that the warrant was served June 16th, and he was ordered to appear here today. All right, I'm going to set him in case 2018-447. I'm setting him for trial. Mr. Cooper, are you appointed in that case?
Your Honor, the only 447 is the only case that we've actually been appointed in, but
Okay.
when I visited with Mr. Niziol yesterday, he assured me he'd fill out the paperwork.
Mr. Niziol, have you done that? Have you filled out the paperwork for the Public Defender's Office for these two new cases?
No, sir. I got to get a form filled out today.
Okay. Well, fill out the form and sign it and list. There are two cases that you're going to have to list that you're applying for the services of the Public Defender's Office. So get that
Yes,
done. I'm setting you down for, have you been on 2018-447 so we could set it in July? Or do we need to set it in August?
Your Honor, I would prefer it be set in August.
All right, setting it for the, I'm setting it for the August 19th trial week and ordering a reappearance on August 1st.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's in case 2018-447. I'm going to set the two new cases for trial the week of October 21st, with reappearances scheduled for September 12th. At this time, I'm not going to set a bond based on his failure to appear and the relative close proximity of trial in of the rescheduled 447. He'll be held without bond so that this time we can get that matter to trial. So, and
Thank you, Your Honor.
we'll, if he wants a bond set, the court will consider having a hearing on that at some time to be set out in the future. But for now, I'm not setting a bond.
Your Honor, bond is not an issue. We discussed that yesterday,
All right,
at least at this time.
very good. All right, you may be excused, sir.
Thank you.
2019-230, State of Arkansas versus Daniel Mildy. Court's making the appointment of the Public Defender's Office to represent Mr. Mildy. And the appointment is for both case 2019-230, which is to be arraigned on today, and in 2016-381. But this is for arraignment on case charge of criminal mischief in the first degree, a Class D felony. On those charges, how does Mr. Mildy plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
This is on 2019-230. Plea of not guilty is noted. He's set for trial the week of October 21st. He's set for a reappearance on September 12th. We're also for arraigning Mr. Mildy on a petition to revoke filed in 2016-81. As I say, Mr. Cooper's been appointed to represent him in that case on the allegations contained in the petition to revoke, which is the new criminal mischief charge. How does the defendant now plead?
Not true, Your Honor.
Not true. That plea of not true is noted. I'm going to set that down for a revocation hearing on July 11th. That's set for hearing on July 11th, and any other action to be taken today?
Your Honor, there is not I think Mr. Milday probably has seen the victim in his case is in the courtroom and has gone to fill out a statement. I'm not going to address bond based upon what the alleged victim has told me. I don't know that it will lead to the conclusion of the case. That'll be up to Mr. Etheridge after he reviews the statement.
All right. Well, it's set for trial, for hearing on July 11th, and the other case is set October 21st. Mr. Mildy, if you were to be released at any point, at this point I'm not setting a bond. If you were to be released at any point, you need to understand that you have an obligation. I've set your case by scheduling order for, that is the new case, the week of October 21st. You're to reappear on September 12th, and then in the revocation case, you're set to reappear on July 11th. If at any point you were to bond out, you are obligated to appear on those dates. Mr. Cooper's been appointed to represent you, and I'm ordering you, if you get out on bond, to make appointments and get in to see Mr. Cooper so he can prepare to represent you. He doesn't have time, based on the huge volume of cases that he's appointed to to spend time trying to track you down. So if you get out of jail for any reason, it's your obligation to get hold of him, not his to track you down. You may be excused at this time.
Your Honor, can I say something?
Yes?
I have a bond already been set. I was wondering, but I have a probation hold. I was wondering, could my probation hold be lifted and I could bond out?
No, sir, I'm not going to do that. Given the nature of the charges, given the proximity of a hearing date on that, I'm not going to bond you out. I'm not going to set a bond on your revocation case. All right?
Okay.
You may be excused. (2019-46) State of Arkansas versus Andrew Lampkin.
I have visited with Mr. Lampkin on more than one occasion, and we still don't have an application from him.
Mr. Lampkin,
Yes, sir.
if you'll speak up, I think you don't have to sit so close to the microphone there, but if you'll speak up. Now, have you made application to the Public Defender's Office?
Yeah, I filled one out, but it hasn't made it in yet.
You haven't handed it in yet?
No, I haven't. It hasn't made it in yet. I have to wait.
Have you handed it in to jailer?
Yeah. Yeah.
When did you do that?
Yesterday or the day before. Something about taking probation.
Pardon?
Probation offer or plea. Yesterday, I spoke with the public defender about probation.
Okay. I mean, Mr. Cooper indicated he had spoken to you about it, but the key is you need to make application to the Public Defender's Office before the Public Defender's Office can be formally appointed to represent you. So he's not going to start talking about a plea bargain on your behalf until you get him formally appointed, which requires you to hand in that application. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Get it done. All right?
All right.
Your case is set for trial during the week of August 19th. Your next reappearance in court will be July 11th.
July 11th. Okay. Thank you.
You may be excused. 2019-118, 2018-83, State of Arkansas versus Tommy Gaddis. The court is making the appointment of the Public Defender's Office in case 2019-118 and in the revocation case 2018-83. Gentlemen, is this a case we don't have the crime lab back on it yet? The drugs?
Your Honor, we are just being appointed this morning on Mr. Gaddis. I just got
I understand.
discovery. Noting the affidavit, I would suspect that we do not have crime lab back though.
Mr. Gaddis, you failed to appear in court on April 18th when Judge Putman had set you down to appear before this court on April 18th for arraignment. You failed to appear. You're only now back in custody, and the court is, this is for arraignment. The court's already made the appointment of the Public Defender's Office to represent you. The charges against you are possession of controlled substance, methamphetamine or cocaine, Class D felony, possession of drug paraphernalia, Class A. The former is a Class D felony. This is possession of drug paraphernalia, Class A misdemeanor, possession of Schedule 4 or 5 drugs, Class A misdemeanor, no liability insurance, and driving on a suspended license. Those are the charges against you. On those charges, how do you now plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Plea of not guilty is noted. Case is set down for trial the week of September 16th with a reappearance on July 11th. 2018-83, State of Arkansas versus Tommy Gaddis. This is a petition to revoke in that case. Petition was filed April 26th. Excuse me, an amended petition to revoke was filed April 26th. It alleges that while on probation, the defendant, on about March 25th, the defendant failed to report to his supervising officer upon his release from incarceration that on or about April 25th, by that time, he had not attempted to contact his probation office, and his whereabouts were unknown. And then then the second allegation here is that on or about March 24th, he had in his possession a quantity of controlled substance, so that's a new felony offense, and also his possession of drugs was a separate violation of the terms and conditions of his probation. Those are the allegations that are contained in the petition. On those allegations, how does the defendant now plead?
Not true, Your Honor.
That plea of not true is set down. Court is setting it for hearing on July 11th on the petition, which is the first available date to hold that hearing.
Your Honor, before he is excused, in talking with the state prior to court, there is an agreement that, pending your approval, that his bond on the revocation would run concurrent with his new charge, and I think his new charge bond is $2,500.
State has no objection to that, Your Honor. We do want, he needs to report if he gets out. We also want him to be drug tested, basically, he has a problem with that issue, Your Honor.
I'm having a little problem with that because of his failure to appear warrant. Mr. Gaddis?
Yes, sir.
You failed to appear back in April, and there's a proposed agreement to have you bond out for $2,500 to be able to bond out on both these allegations. You understand that the court would be ordering you, if you bond out, has ordered you to appear on July 11th.
Yes,
You
sir.
understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have an explanation for why you didn't appear on April 18th, I think it was?
I had misdemeanor court in Harrison.
Pardon?
I had misdemeanor court in Boone County that day.
So you went to Boone County for misdemeanor court and felt that was more important than showing up in Baxter County on felonies for which
No, I
you
didn't
can be
know- I didn't know-
arrested and put back in jail?
No, sir. I didn't know I had court both in both counties.
How did you fail to know that?
I guess I didn't read over my paperwork.
Yeah. I'm going to approve the agreement that's been made that you'll be allowed to bond out on both cases. The bond will be $2,500 cash or surety, and your next it'll be conditioned upon. You know where the probation office is, right?
Yes, sir.
It'll be conditioned upon your reporting to probation on Monday and Friday of each week between now and then to be drug tested.
Yes, sir.
So those will be your obligations, and your next court appearance here in Baxter County is on July 11th, and you need to
Yes,
be
sir.
there. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. You may be excused at this time. (2019-223), 2019-225, State of Arkansas versus Stephen Wapples. You're Mr. Wapples?
Waples.
Waples, excuse me. Mr. Waples, have you made any arrangements to be represented by an attorney?
No.
What is your intention?
Public defender.
Okay. You have the constitutional right to an attorney, and that gives you the right to hire the attorney of your choice. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney, you're entitled to at least make application to the public defender's office to secure an attorney. To do that, you have to fill out an application form. Those forms are there at the jail and available to you. Ask a jailer for one, fill it out, and sign it and turn it in, and it will get to the public defender's office where it will be, it'll get in front of a judge, and a judge will review it and either make the appointment or not, depending on what's in that application. That's the process. Now, you're before the court today for arraignment on, for a first appearance and for arraignment on 2 charges. In case 2019-223, the charges are against you are possession of drug paraphernalia, Class A misdemeanor, and possession of a firearm by a certain person, a Class D felony. In case 2019-223, how do you plead on those charges?
Not guilty.
I'm noting your plea of not guilty. And I'm noting that you're applying to the public defender's office. On 2019-225, you're charged with the offenses of fleeing, a Class D felony, possession of a firearm by a certain person, a Class D felony, possession of a firearm by a certain person, a second count, Class D felony, then there's a third count, Class D felony, possession of drug paraphernalia related to the manufacture of methamphetamine, a Class B felony, possession of drug paraphernalia related to the use of methamphetamine, it's a Class D felony. On those charges, how do you now plead?
Not guilty.
I'm noting you're not guilty plea. You're applying, and that you're applying to the public defender's office. I'm setting you to reappear in a week in front of Judge Putman. That's on June 27th in front of Judge Putman, to whose docket your cases are assigned. So you'll make your next appearance in front of Judge Putman on June 27th. You may be excused.
Thank you.